episode 3 of 3. We're finally at our last episode of integration. Right, so it's been very cool gift from Plant Path Group. Mark and Michelle are living their best lives, working hard to make sure that they're supporting this group. So they're out there in the world doing their thing. And here I am with you again. So feel free to leave questions, leave comments, let me know what's going on for you. I always go back and look over the comments again too. So if you see this video on replay, know that it will be up for you indefinitely, I think in Plant Path and in my group and on my YouTube channel. So feel free to take a gander at it whenever it's right for you, because integration is so important. And it's a wonderful thing that Mark and Michelle are so focused, and Thomas too, on the meaningful nature of integration. So something that we had discussed and toyed with the idea of is because it is Halloween. Happy Halloween, guys. Blessed Samhain para los muertos en México y lo demás. Bienvenidos a casa. Happy All Saints Day, whatever it is you're playing and into. And happy Wednesday. We were thinking about doing integration horror stories. Ooh, very excited, right? So maybe Mark, of course, being the endlessly sweet one that he is, decided we should do gratitude stories. I think we should mix it up and do a little bit of both. And because he's out there working hard for you guys, I'm going to take advantage of his platform and go for it. I would also really like to address in this section, particularly something that came up in the last one that I thought was really wonderful and super important that I would love to address, which I heard called pre-integration. I thought that was really interesting. I just call it prep, right? But that is also super essential. So we'll inlay that a little bit also along our conversation. First, a recap. What is integration? Integration is turning your experience into your new life. How do you take your knowledge and turn it into wisdom, right? So this is all about having an experience. And integration can occur from anything from a life event, which could be anything as mundane as, or as horrible or whatever, as a trauma, a divorce, move to a new city, a new thing that you learn in a book, all the way through a transcendental experience. And because we're here on Plant Path Group, we have the unique opportunity to address specifically the integration possibilities available inside psychedelic experiences, which may or may not contain visual experiences, but absolutely contain revelatory ones. So remember that revelations can come either at the time, I just realized this thing about my life, I know what I have to do. Or I just realized this thing and now I don't know what to do. That's also an important thing to notice, right? Or the revelations can come later, such as, man, I was in the shower 2 weeks later and it just dawned on me what happened, and the revelations came faster than the water down from the sky in my shower, and it was amazing. And now I know something that I didn't know before. And we can also create space for revelation. So for example, here we are talking about integration coaching. Integration coaching creates space for revelation. You had this amazing experience, tell me all about it. Let's turn that into something meaningful where you have your aha, breakthrough, I get it, oh my God, eureka, hallelujah, whatever it is for you. And you want to have those experiences. That ultimately is the point and intention of plant medicines. And yes, they're amazing. Yes, they're fun. Yes, they're cleansing and healing, all the good stuff. And it's very exciting. And I know everyone at my ceremony says a phenomenal time. We love to keep it light and have a really good experience, but we're also very focused on the powerful transformative potential. And transformative potential occurs in integration process and in prep. So now that we've had our little recap, let's address first what is pre-integration. I love how that sounds. What is preparation, right? A lot of my clients come to me for prep, not even in my own ceremonies, which is great. I love that. I love that we now are focused on realizing that we need some infrastructure in our mind and our life way in order to prepare ourselves for a ceremony experience. A lot of us struggle with a few things. One, I'm afraid of change. I don't know what I'm going to see. What if the light bulb comes on inside me and I don't like it? What do I do? Two, I'm nervous about the experience. What am I going to see? I don't know if I really am ready to see aliens. I don't know what's going to happen. And what if, what if I have a bad trip? Like, what if I see something I don't like? Okay, this is another important, right? So preparation helps us, one, surrender to the process, surrender to the medicine, okay? And two, it helps us feel comfortable and confident so we can have an amazing experience. And actually, three, it can also, depending on your prep process, help you let go of some of the baggage, the grief case, right? Unpack some of that so that by the time you get to ceremony, you can have an awesome experience. So I firmly believe that we've suffered enough. That's why we're turning to these medicines. So let's have some fun, right? And PrEP is a great way to do that. So I love when we did our live coaching. Thank you, Ms. Paula, for being so bold. I would love to check in with you, like Michelle said, and see how you're doing. She had mentioned that PrEP is really helpful for her. So I love, love, love that this has come up a lot more now. I love that I see a lot more clients, not even in my own ceremonies, that come just for PrEP. I specialize in visionary clinics and helping yourself access that. And dogs. So it can also help you have better visions, have better quality experience visions, which is really cool. A lot of the PrEP experience involves letting go of past stories so we can ease the transition into our next best self. It also helps us. Honey, can you deal with the dog? Real life, guys. It can also help us acclimate our mind to a way of experiencing ourselves in our world, so that I'm gonna have to go get up and get her. She's doing this. My God, there was a squirrel. Now everybody knows. Um, and it also can help us focus our mind and learn to acclimate ourselves to a different way of seeing ourselves and a different way of seeing our world habitually, so that we automatically are, for example, in observation mode. So whatever happens can just happen and it'll be okay, right? Which is really helpful anyway. So I can combine a series of explanations of, deep diving into one's personal dramas, unpacking some things, rewriting new beliefs, practices of meditations. I like things to be simple and easy, right? So I like little things. Right? Enough about that. So now we understand what PrEP is for. It not only can smooth the ceremony experience and hope you have a more joyful, more lovely one, it also prepares us for navigating a visionary state, because let's be honest, guys, we barely know how to interpret dreams. And we think we're just going to enter a visionary state and know exactly what to do. And that's probably not true. So being prepared not only helps you feel more confident and more relaxed, and we're able to go with it, but it also helps you know what to do. What happens if you do see something you don't like? Did you know that you can breathe light and clarity into the situation? You can ask the medicine to speak to you. If you didn't know that, maybe preparation counseling would be a really helpful way for you to learn these skills before going into a medicine experience. Okay. So let's talk about some interesting integration horror stories and moments of gratitude. Yes, Mark. So I want to go through some really common integration misperceptions that I hear that are both beautiful and terrifying. Number one, ayahuasca told me to be a healer. Okay, this could be with any medicine, right? And so the answer to that is get up and go to ceremony tomorrow, right? Wrong. So that is an invitation, and it's a beautiful one. Remember that a lot of these medicines, they have their own magic, their own entity, their own personality. They have their own agenda. Ayahuasca is a vine. Vines like to creep, and they will creep and creep and creep. This is why it has taken over the world, both in the form of its psychedelic brew and also literally the plant botanically is invasive now in many places because it likes to creep, right? So when we hear things like ayahuasca told me I'm an ayahuasca shaman, that's beautiful. That doesn't mean give ceremony tomorrow. That means you have a beautiful gift here, a wonderful thing to be grateful for. It's an invitation to heal yourself, to work with this medicine, to communicate with it in a way that can help you expand your own perspectives, allow the medicine to teach you, also find teachers. There is so much that goes into medicine practitionership, which includes medical knowledge. It includes psychological knowledge. It includes visionary state knowledge. It includes working with medicine knowledge. It involves traditional knowledge. It involves modern mindset knowledge. Like, it involves so much, and it's so essential to educate yourself first. A lot of my ceremony PTSD cases that come in from other places tell me that, one, there was an integration, and two, it wasn't a ceremony. It was an unskilled practitioner, and anyone can give someone a cup of tea. Can you truly guide a beautiful experience and change someone's life? These medicine experiences are life-changing. That ought to be a positive change. And yes, it is possible to have a horrible life-changing experience in the wrong direction. With integration coaching, horrible experiences can turn into beautiful ones. But remember that the messages that we get out of medicines are often like dreams. They need to be interpreted. They speak to us in the form that the plant speaks. And hearing, you're an ayahuasca shaman, serve medicine, doesn't mean get up tomorrow and do a ceremony. It means heal yourself, educate yourself. Remember that the call to be a healer is always, first and foremost, the call to heal yourself. So this is a beautiful blessing. What gratitude to have for a message like this. You're doing the work. Good job. Dive deeper. Keep it going. Maybe learn some things about these medicines and these traditions and these practices and what you can do to be a bigger part of improving the world's mental health situation. Also, the horror story happens when someone decides to the horror story happens when someone decides to simply get up the next day and serve medicines with no training, no questioning, no practice, no knowledge, no experience in any of these spheres. And the outcomes can be deadly, actually, for a lot of these medicines. But they don't have to be. These medicines are relatively safe, unless in the wrong hands, like many things. Right? So that's your counterpoint, both a blessing and a horror story, depending on what you do with it, right? That's most of life, isn't it? Our perspective is what changes everything. So another one that I love to get, and I hear all the time, is number 2. I know that I am a being from another dimension. I'm an alien. I'm an angel. I am an element or whatever. Just go for it. I'm a floating ball of light space. Right. So we all have these beautiful experiences at some point in the medicine journey. And some of us will have them right away. There is a beautiful blessing and a danger, horror here as well. So the blessing is that you got to experience embodying a being that is in greater awareness than yourself in your current life, in our small-mindedness as humans, right? So this is awesome. You get to be an expanded consciousness. You get to know different things. You get to feel a greater sense of communing with the cosmos. Like, this is amazing. You get to find like a soul connection to something that you can learn something from. This is beautiful, and I love this story. And I hear it all the time. It's a wonderful gift. The horror story. I'm an alien, therefore I no longer need to pay my cell phone bill. And also, what am I supposed to do with my life? And I quit my job, but now I'm getting kicked out of my house. Okay. So you're an alien, but you're also here in life on Earth. No, but you don't understand. I'm an alien. Okay, got it. But you're also here on Earth. You need to like be present with that as well. So how do we turn that experience into something really beautiful for your life versus now you are an unintegrated weirdo who is not bathing, right? So that's the horror story side of it. And I have seen that more than a few times also. So 1 is the call to healership, which is awesome. 2 is the dark and the light side of that, the gratitude and the horror story, is becoming an extra dimensional being of some variety, right? It's often aliens, but it can be other things too. Also, horror story number 3, identifying with some symbology. A lot of us will do this. I do a lot of like past life regressions also. And I see this sometimes with regressions. And so I'm really conscientious about integration with those two, where we will have an experience where we know we're connected to some time and place. I know for sure that I'm a Mayan or I'm an ancient Egyptian and I am this person and I need to like live this life out. Okay, so what we gain from these experiences, start with the gratitude, is a beautiful story through which we can peer into our lives in a different way. Okay, so it's always easier to give advice to someone else, right, than it is to hear our own advice or look at our own problems. So this is a way that a lens through which we can see our life and our perspectives a little differently without feeling attached and personal about the story of it, because it's not really our life, even though it is, right? So it's also a really wonderful way to connect with some cultural richness, right? So this is wonderful because cultural richness gives us an opportunity to dive into a different type of learning, a different mindset, a different perspective. Hell, even learning a new language can really expand our perspective and our mindset. So this is really cool. It also gives us something to attach to, an aesthetic, right? An aesthetic helps us. So I became an ancient Egyptian in one life, so I'm going to decorate my house with little Egyptian figurines. And so that will remind me to be present with my own nature as being larger than just this life. as somehow being empowered or mysterious or whatever it is that you found in that space, that time, that dimension, that reality, that experience that was really empowering for you, to re-elicit those feelings and remind yourself of the amazing experience you had. The aesthetic is actually a really cool way to do that. So I'm huge into visual totems and visual like triggers, right? That are supportive. For example, you see this guy over here, right? When we see our happy Buddha over here, we think about something. We think about serenity. It inspires us peace, right? So is the Buddha sitting there? No, but also he is, because his energy rises in my heart whenever I see his serene face, right? So this type of aesthetic recreation in our life is really beautiful. The horror story. Attachment, guys, attachment. I'm an Egyptian, okay, but you're actually a Scandinavian American and you need to go to work. So, but you don't understand, I'm an Egyptian queen, and so there's no reason for me to have to work in like a phone call center, and I'm just not doing it, right? Okay, but again, pay your phone bill, bathe. How can that empower your life? When we become extremely attached to a specific time period, or way of thinking, or aesthetic, or ideal, or idea about ourselves, then again, this is just more attachment. And where is that healthful? Now we feel offended by anything that isn't that. And we're so obsessed with it that we forgot to pay attention to what's really right by us, as opposed to being inspired. Instead, we become grasping for everything that is this thing, right? So remember, the beautiful side is it creates a possibility for us to trigger an amazing experience and a new perspective and learn something cool and new and be excited. The horror story is becoming super attached to this experience and identifying with it more strongly than your current reality, because that's not healthy. And remember always that the most important life you'll ever live is the one you're living right now, because that's the one that you're in. That's your present moment, your present experience, the place where you get to find peace, your present lesson, right? So this is the most important life. The most important moment is right now. And becoming attached to yourself in an alternative reality is only constructive if you're in the process of jumping realities into a new version of your life, right? But we often do that in very subtle ways. So imagining ourselves as an ancient queen is probably not really helpful, unless the symbolism empowers us and we feel really juicy, but we're still living our best life, like going to work and showering, all those good things, right? So that's your item number 3 in often integration. Okay, I'm going to give you guys one more because I know I love to talk to you guys, but timing is everything, right? So one more. Number 4, death. It's Halloween, Samhain, Dia de Muertos, All Saints Day, whatever it is you need to. The time for death. So, death, right? In shamanistic traditions, death is also about rebirth. It's about rebirth. So remember that when we have an experience of death, and this can happen with very strong psychedelics, it can happen spontaneously. I had a weird death experience one time when I woke up at the wrong time and I was so sure I had died. I was like processing my death, which is peculiar to do in your lifetime and something that sacred medicines can really give us, especially in the space of an ego death, which is really a release of attachment, of identification as a self, right? Which is amazing. Also can be harrowing. Also doesn't have to. The ego deaths that occur in my ceremonies are peaceful, joyful, sweet, loving, wonderful experiences. They don't have to include thrashing and wailing. If I've definitely had those experiences too. There's no judgment in it whatsoever, right? So how it looks is up to you. Remember that an ego death can happen at any time. It doesn't have to be for medicines. If that's specifically what you're looking for, ask yourself why. This appears more often than not to be considered an apex experience with medicine, specifically with ayahuasca and bufo and these stronger psychedelics. Ask yourself why. Why do you really want that, and how do you want that experience to be? And remember to be held safely by a practitioner you trust. That's the only way to make it go smoothly for you. Right? So death, the blessing of death, and then the horror. The blessing is a renewed value of your life. I died and I went to the other side. I'm no longer afraid. And now I am alive, fearless, and in love with living. And I'm inspired, and I'm going to live every day like it's my last, because when I died, it was. And I suddenly realized that every moment is precious, right? This is beautiful. What a revelation. My goodness. Yes, yes, yes. I am not myself. I am not this body. I'm so much bigger. I'm so much more. I'm so much more aware, so much more present. I am so much more, and I am capable of so much more. This is beautiful. Uh, it maybe is an apex experience, right? A lot of times an ego death also accompanies a union with source. So it doesn't have to, but it can. It's beautiful. Also, it helps us release fear. It helps us release limitation. It helps us acknowledge ourselves as more than just the small self, the body, right? The life. So beautiful. And now the moment you're waiting for. I'm sure you can gather where the horror story is going. I have had many clients come to me from my ceremonies and others who have said, I have died and I'm freaking out. I'm depressed. I'm upset. I couldn't believe that I would put myself through that. I'm unsafe. What if I die again? And my family and my friends and my dog, and what do I do? And now I'm all over the place and I don't know how to be anymore. And I don't even know if I'm really alive, and I'm not even in my body. And like, what's going on? This is not healthy, right? Turbulent emotions rarely are. Emotions that have us preoccupied with demise, emotions that have us obsessed with fear, not healthy, right? So these horror stories are intense. They can cause suicidal thoughts. They can cause self-harm in other ways. They can cause horrible depression and anxiety if not integrated properly. Good preparation leads to a smooth death, and good integration leads to a joyful reunion with life. So integration and prep can work in conjunction, especially in a space like this, right? And this is especially since it's considered an apex medicine experience. I think it's so essential. Thank you, Mark and Michelle, for being so focused on this, to focus on how it is that we're approaching these experiences, to focus on the integration work, and now the pre-integration, I love that, the prep work that causes us to be able to live out our best lives as a result of beautiful and amazing experiences that don't have to be harrowing, that don't have to drag us through the underworld. The master that I work with was the keeper of the underworld. It's a very big deal in her environment. It's considered like an apex of achievement. She's a maestro on top of that. So it's like the person who trains the shamans. So it was very, very interesting, the transition that we moved from in our work, from chopping off heads to realizing that every head we chop is our home, and to send someone to the underworld is to go to the underworld. And yes, it is a beautiful place of creation, but it is also a place where we face our fears, which if we realize instead that we can live fearlessly, that we are okay, that we're safe, then there's no need to have to face fear. We can simply let go of the attachment to the suffering. And it's a beautiful experience. And these mindset shifts occur in the space of prep and integration. This is how we turn our experiences into something amazing. And this is how we create space for amazing experiences. And they should be, guys. We often turn to medicines because we're looking for help. Why suffer more? There's no need for it. And I love, love, love that I know Mark and Michelle agree with this perspective. It is not traditional. In traditional shamanic practices, suffering is key. But also we don't live in those cultures for the most part. So, and as we're bringing these medicines into the Western world, we need to adapt a little bit. And it's not about abandoning tradition. It's about acknowledging where those traditions no longer support the original intention in a modern mindset environment, and being able to adjust and create the best experience possible for what it is that's really here for, which is our healing, our expansion, and our continued growth. For us to acknowledge our unlimited nature beyond time and space. And the more we acknowledge that, the bigger our perspective is, the bigger our awareness is, the more expanded our consciousness is, and the bigger we all are in our lives and live more fully. And this has got to be the point, right? Richer relationships, happier love, right? More pure, honest communication, a more pure, honest relationship with self, right? So in order for that to happen, Michelle and Mark are here to support you guys. Their platform here is stellar. I haven't seen such a one as wonderful as this ever. I've been doing this a long time. I love how they're offering you guys an opportunity to reach out to coaches. Their website contains a whole bunch of coaches, including psychologists and medicine people and with pictures, and you can pick who you like and who you vibe with and who you feel like you want to connect with. Please reach out. Even if you feel like you've had an amazing experience after ceremony, you're totally fine with any integration. Actually, integration can propel that and help you get the most out of your unique experience, because though there are common threads, like the four we just mentioned, all these experiences are very unique and very personal. So a little one-on-one attention to help you implement what it is that you learned in your life through practices, tools, and mindset shifts is a powerful way to honor what it is, that the gift that you've given yourself, the experience. Right? I love you guys so much. I will depart from you here. Again, please leave some comments, leave questions. I don't see that I can see any questions coming in from you guys, but let us know. Are you live? Are you replay? Are you inspired? Are you like, Kat, heard it? Tell me what you guys think. And definitely, if you find an opportunity and a way to support Mark and Michelle, please do so. They're doing this all for you guys. They're working their asses off in order to make it happen. Their love and respect and honor in their community is huge, and I love them for it. And as you guys know, they just got trashed by a hurricane of Fort Myers, Florida, so they could use a little love and support and help. And they will never ask for it because they believe forging their own path, which is amazing. It's how we got this group. It's great. Um, so whatever you guys can think of to support them, and that includes supporting what it is that they've built. That includes supporting the coaches that they have listed on their website. That includes supporting their mission by honoring your process, right? Their mission is for you to live well. They don't just do it for themselves. They're doing this for you and for the desire for all of us to live better in community and beyond. I love you guys very much. Many blessings. Enjoy the festivities for the holidays, whichever one you're celebrating, if at all. And I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.